Hi guys, so this is Bo. Yeah, I'm trying something new. I'm playing around with OBS. This is the new version, the 25 on 64-bit window. I actually try to figure out a lot of stuff on my own, and it was kind of cool to get it working, particularly with the webcam situation. And I'll have the webcam thing going pretty soon. Right now, I'm just playing around with it. So what you're seeing here is a live video feed capture of my screen or part of my desktop. Anyway, so we're in lockdown, and I basically watch a lot of movies. And one of the movies that I really love are made by the Shaw Brothers, and they're no longer around, but I still love them, and they produce hundreds and hundreds of movies, particularly kung fu movies and martial art movie in the 70s, 80s. And yeah, so they because the Shaw Brothers produce so many movies. There's so many films that I actually have not seen, and I actually own quite a few DVDs when they first came out on DVDs when they remastered them from the original negative print films. And so yeah, but when they transition over to Blu-ray, obviously there's not enough market in the U.S. for the Shaw Brothers to actually make any money, or people who just didn't want to license it because nobody's going to buy them in America. And it's a tough sell because, yeah, I mean, America don't like watching movies with subtitles. That's just that's just the thing. Um, yeah, so some of these movies are dubbed. The Savage Five is dubbed, but the dubbing is pretty awful. Um, yeah, I mean, I prefer to watch it in the original Chinese audio, but I also don't mind dubbed when dubs are are done right, or at least try to match the the voices. Anyway, so yeah, I just saw these three movies: Killer Constable, 1980; The Savage Five, 1974; and Bewitched, 1981. Now, two of these movies are actually directed by the same director, Killer Constable and Bewitched. And I only watched Killer Constable because I enjoy Bewitched so much that I ended up trying to track down the directors of the movies. You can buy these on import Blu-rays, but if you buy them on Blu-ray, if you're in outside of say England, you will have to get a video player that doesn't care about region locks, or you can use your computer to actually just decrypt the movie file and put it on a format that you can watch. So either way, really enjoy these movies. Well, I mean, Savage Five, I think it's a fine film. It's okay. It's directed by Chang Che. I'll just talk about my least favorite of the three, the Savage Five. And basically, the story is it's kind of very similar to the Seven Samurai, where a bunch of bandits, goes and takes over a small town, and kind of demand that when they return in 6 months time or whatever, that the bandits or the villagers should have all their food and stuff. But what the village did is they basically hired seven samurais to defend their village with the very little money that they have. Well, anyway, so Savage Rise is very similar. It's a bunch of bandits went into a small little village, and they demanded they had stolen a safe, and they wanted like the blacksmith to open up the safe for them. But obviously the blacksmith is refused to do so, and so basically the bandits are start killing the villagers and raping them and just killing them. It's just terrible people. And so five villagers, a woodcutter, a kind of like a kung fu student, he's not very a good fighter, but he's kind of like a student, a thief, and that the blacksmith, and also a traveling acrobat, performer. They decided they were going to take down this this gang, And it's very typical Chang Cheh style. It's not a lot of story, but a lot of fighting, a lot of deaths, and a lot of blood. And one of the interesting thing about this, the Savage Five, is that it actually um, had guns in it, which is kind of like a rare thing in these kind of typical martial arts film. But yeah, I mean, it's okay film. I mean, I think I would pass on it. It's not as good as say some of the later Chang Cheh films, such as Super Ninjas or Five Element Ninjas, or Five Deadly Venoms. So go to those movies before you check out Savage Five. I've just never seen it before, so it's um yeah, Bewitched. So I had a bootleg copy of this movie when I was a little kid, and it's probably not a film that children should watch. It is very horrific. There's a lot of sex stuff in it, and it's pretty much an adult film in 1981. And anyway, so I have the VHS copy and used to watch it all the time. And then it's just I've always thought the movie was called Black Magic, but that's not the case. Black Magic is actually a very different film, which I also own, by the way, Black Magic. So yeah, so it's about a guy who kind of, he's a tourist. He goes over to Thailand, meets a girl, and kind of ends up, like, kind of, to him it's just a fling, but she obviously doesn't think it's a fling, and so she kind of put a curse on him that if he doesn't return within a certain amount of time, that a things bad things will happen to him, and obviously terrible things does happen to them. He ends up killing his kid, and all this sort of like spells that is just like very gruesome. We're talking about human fetuses or dead fetuses. We're talking nails in the eyes, or 9-inch nails, and we're talking about throwing up maggots. It's just a very gruesome film. But if you like Asian horror, this is definitely worth checking out if you've not seen it. Very similar to other films such as Black Magic, Hex, and Seeding of a Ghost, if you're into that kind of thing. Definitely check it out. The Blu-ray has a great commentary by Hong Kong expert Bay Logan, and I love Bay Logan. I think he is very knowledgeable when it comes to these kind of movies. Clearly, he's a huge fan, and he's also been working in the industry as well. So he's also an actor and I guess producer of Asian movies. Very, thumbs up to Bay Logan. I love his stuff, and I actually end up buying more stuff because he is on the commentary, and he's also on the commentary for Killer Constable as well. Which, Killer Constable, I've not seen this, and I've actually thought this is one of the better written Shaw Brothers movie. You have to understand the Shaw Brothers were producing 100 films a year, and they were just cranking out films after film because the Shaw Brothers owns the studio, but they also own the the theaters, the distribution, and they basically needed films to be played in the Shaw Brothers theaters. So they needed films to be constantly produced to keep the audience happy. And so yeah, this is one of the film that was produced. Kill Constable, like I said, is it's very good. I mean, it's kind of like it starts off like a typical story where the royal treasury was robbed by 5 robbers, and the administrator appointed the constable to go and seek these men out, bring them to justice, bring back the gold, and so they appointed this guy, this constable, who's has a reputation for just basically killing off all of his his people that he hunts down. So he's known as the Killer Constable, and the Killer Constable then takes some loyal men with him, 5 men, including one that he didn't want to put in danger, but he insists on coming, so they bring him along, and basically through his journey, or through the journey of tracking down the robbers, you kind of started seeing that each of his subjects, or each of his loyal followers, started to kind of die off, hunting these robbers and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's actually really good because there's actually a really nice twist at the end, where you find out who the actual real robber is. And yeah, it's really well written, and the fight sequence are great. I mean, there's all sorts of like obstacle that they encounter, but I don't want to give it away too much. So yeah, check it out. It's very epic, I guess, when you come to think of it, in these movies. Yeah, and in typical Shaw Brothers movie, at the end, there's a big throwdown, and the killer constable is facing the real robber, and yeah, it's great, great fun, little film. I wish I'd seen this earlier. This would have been one of those highly ranked, films. Anyway, so I'm gonna check out more Shaw Brother movies next week as well. Try to catch movies I have not seen before. And so, incidentally, if you want to watch these movies, you can import these on Blu-ray, I guess on Amazon. But you do need to decode the region. It's region locked to 2, so if you know how to get around that, definitely check it out. If you don't know how to get around it, you can always buy it from Google Play Movie. So if you go to Google Play, or play.google.com, you can go to movies, and then you can basically search for your film. So in this case, we'll do Killer Constable, and there is. So I have already purchased it, so I can watch it. But you can also rent it for $1. So that's or free actually, if because they give you a voucher. Alternatively, so by the way, so if you buy it from Google Play Store, you can watch it on YouTube. So if you go YouTube and you go under My Purchase here, you'll see movies that you've purchased, and you can start watching it on YouTube. So if you prefer to watch it that way. There's a third way where you can watch for free, basically, if you have Amazon Prime. So if you go Amazon Prime, you can you start watching all these Kung Fu classic films for free. So this is actually a great way for you to check out films that maybe you haven't seen before. Personally speaking, though, I do like to own my movies, because obviously if I'm not paying for Prime next year, this access goes away. And so and plus I want to support the the Celestial Pictures, which is basically the rights holder for all these Shaw Brothers movies. So yeah, but yeah, that's another way of watching these films if you want to do it for free. So this is a little experiment in just checking it, just using OBS. So so thanks for watching.